Hi, I'm Caleb.
And I'm Davis.
And welcome to The Whatever Show.
Season 1, Episode 2.
So, today, Davis and I thought that we should probably talk about our friendship a little bit and how we got to know each other.
Yeah, so last time we talked a little bit about ourselves, and we thought,
And how Davis liked to hit kids with cardboard.
Yeah, and how Caleb works at a pizza restaurant. His dad makes terrible mixed drinks.
That are non-alcoholic.
That are non-alcoholic.
Alcoholic.
But we figured, we talked about ourselves last time, so now we can talk about how we came to know each other. Like, talk about Davis and Caleb rather than just us by ourselves.
Because, we've been friends for going on... Oh man, so 7th through 12th, that's going on 5 years.
6 years? Yeah, 5, 6 years.
6 years. That is pretty ridiculous.
That's pretty good. That's not bad at all.
I know. Consistency is key, guys. Remember that.
So, as you heard, we met in 7th grade.
In English class.
English class.
My least favorite class.
We were in a class, I guess I can't really say the teacher's name, but we were in
We're in like a gifted class.
Yeah.
So.
And so we were in there, and I remember it was a free day, and I loved Pokemon cards. I still love Pokemon cards. And I had this massive binder of Pokemon cards that I had collected over the years. It was huge. And I had met some people, and I told them about my card collection. They're like, "Oh, you should bring it in. You should bring it in." And I want to see it. So I bring it in and slam it on the desk. And on that particular day, it was a free day in English, so we didn't have to really do anything. I think we had just finished reading a book, and she didn't have a lesson planned for that day, so it was just a free day.
We probably finished something like a DBQ or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. But anyway, so I'll show my friends, and apparently the when I slammed down that binder,
the whole school went silent for at least 5 seconds.
Yeah, and little did I know, Caleb heard it from across the room. And so this kid, who I didn't know, he comes over. Yeah, just like that. And he plops himself down in a chair, and he says, "What you got there?" I'm like, "These are my Pokemon cards." And he's like, "No way. I love Pokemon." And he grabs the binder from in front of me, swipes it away, and rips it open and starts flipping through my pages. And
oh yeah, I have that one.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I got that one. Oh, I don't got that one. Oh, whoa, where's all your EXs? Oh, man."
Oh yeah, because you only had that.
Well, they were all in the back. I'd put all of them in the back, and you hadn't gotten to them yet. And so I was like, "Who is this kid? Who
is this kid? He just took my binder.
I know, he just runs
through
over
all the pages. What is he doing?"
So I'm like, "Good grief, who is this kid?" And so I'm kind of mad, to be honest, because he came over and he just snatches it away, and I'm impressed that he's over here and that he cares so much, and I'm kind of honored because it feels good to be like
recognized
wow.
for your Pokemon.
I'm being recognized for my Pokemon right now. This is really cool, and so that part was cool. That was nice, but I was kind of mad that he came over and swiped them right as I was showing everybody. So I was like, "Thanks, random kid." And I pulled them back. And I was showing them to everybody else. But anyway.
I know, all these fake fans.
That day at lunch, I was eating my lunch happily. I was with my other friends.
I forget if I had my 10 that day.
I don't remember if you did or not.
Me either.
But anyway, I was sitting at lunch with my 2 or 3 friends that I had made. Yeah, because other fun fact about me, I had switched schools from my old school district to the one that I'm at right now in 6th grade. So I had only been there for 1 year at that point. So I only had made a couple friends. I didn't really know too many people because that was only my 2nd year in the district. And so I was there with my 2 or 3 friends.
Make it sound like the Hunger Games.
Well, anyway, I was sitting there, and I'm talking, whatever, and then I hear, and plonk, there comes this kid who is looking at my Pokemon cards, and he wedges himself right down next to me. He's like, "Can I see your cards again?" And I'm like, yeah, here you go, yeah, I'm so glad. And so I let him see them again. And so, like, that's how I met Caleb the first time.
I know. Isn't it such a great story?
It was.
No, but Davis and I were definitely, after that, we, like, hit it off after, I guess, Davis got, not mad at me for looking at his Pokemon cards. I'm sure that I showed him mine, and he was like, oh, yes, a man of culture as well.
Yeah, so, anyway, that's how I first met Caleb. But, as time went on, by the end of the year, I was pretty good friends with him.
We all had a bookmaking competition by the end of that
year.
We did,
yeah. We each were, like, trying to write a book. We were trying to, like, have a competition so we could see...
Who can write the best book?
Who can write the best book, yeah. We made a card game. We made up our own card game by the end of the year.
It was just called...
KSD?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Not like bicycle cards, like
it was like a trading card.
Exactly.
Game.
So it was like Pokemon, but
it was like
no budget.
Right.
Everything was on like
it was like Pokemon,
no cards
but,
and sheets of paper.
Drawn on index cards with colored pencil sketches. All the artwork was hand drawn.
And there was no rules either.
No rules. I mean, Hi everyone. This is Davis from editing, here to tell you that while editing this video, I actually found the cards that we were talking about right here. So the same home-drawn cards that we had from way back when were actually sitting in a little box in my closet. So, for your enjoyment, I've decided to clip those up onto the screen for you. That way you can have a nice little visual element as you watch the next part of the show. Enjoy!
We kind of had like a council meeting.
Yeah.
And we were like, that card is too powerful.
Yeah, we would at lunch, we would take them to the lunch table and we'd splay them all out. We'd be like, this one's good, this one's overpowered, we can't use that one.
This one's lame,
right.
It doesn't do anything.
Right. So we had our own card game. And so 7th grade was good. I had a really good 7th grade year. Then
in 8th grade, didn't we play Pokemon together?
Yeah, 8th grade
is... DS to school?
Yep, that's when I started bringing my DS to school. And that's when we really hit it off, was 8th grade.
I mean, I had been playing, I think I've been playing Pokemon since, okay. So I played the trading card games, which if you're unknowledgeable, that's fine. I'm about to educate you real quick. There's the trading card games, there's the video games, there's the online trading card games.
And there's the
anime. And then there's the anime, yeah. So I had grown up watching the anime and also playing with the trading cards ever since I was probably about 5 years old, just because my older brother had them as well. But then I got my first game. I think it was the Christmas of 5th grade, and I was like, ooh! And I was like, this is the best thing ever. How could I have not known? And then I just have been the catchphrase is gotta catch 'em all, but I've kind of altered it to I've gotta get 'em all, and I'm talking about the video games, of course.
Yep.
So I've dropped $50+ paying for a brand new AAA game for an older copy of, I think it was Pokemon Leaf Green, that I just magically lost out of the middle of nowhere.
I forgot about that.
At Davis's house. I know. It was probably lost in transit, to be completely honest. I probably accidentally dropped it out of my pocket somewhere.
Yeah.
Got ran over.
Yeah, we never found that thing.
But yeah, Davis and I definitely have a long history just because of our beginning interest in Pokemon, and not only that, just being in the gifted classes, and I would say also that we have pretty similar ideals.
Yeah, we're both Christian. We both have similar morals. Things like that.
But I don't know about beating the pulp out of children with cardboard, but I'm still friends with Davis. I'll forgive him.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb forgives me when I beat him to a pulp.
Yeah, and vice versa as well.
Yeah, all the times he's, smacked down on me before.
Not physically.
No, not physically, but, in Pokemon or in words.
Yeah, Davis does happen to be a lot cooler than me, but he has not beaten me at Pokemon to this day.
Yeah, well, that's definitely the truth. I've never been able to beat Caleb.
It's okay. I'm just an overcommitted, determined person who has a lot of drive for stuff that doesn't matter.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. But anyway, like we were saying, Pokemon brought us together. So if there's any Pokemon executives out there who happen to be watching this, sponsor, that'd be great.
Yeah, please sponsor.
Pokemon sponsor us. But you just know that your company is what brought us to know each other in the first place. So
exactly. Shout out Pokemon.
Shout out to Pokemon. But anyway.
What else was there? Because I'll tell you a very distinct experience in 8th grade. So I used to be really, I was not a big fan of English. But Davis was he's pretty solid at it. And he would never study for his vocab test. And I was like, man, I am stinking on these vocab tests.
That's
Davis, you've got to help me.
Exactly the truth. You just didn't ever see me study.
Oh, okay.
Because I would never study by myself. I would always get my mom to read them to me.
Gotcha.
And then that's how I would study. I could only do it if my mom read them to me. Which is still kind of how I study. But
yeah. But I remember there was all the times in the bleachers that we'd sit before school actually started.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd crack out my binder and Davis would look at it and he would somehow be able to read my chicken scratch that was on the pages. And he'd be like, okay, what does the word mean? And I'm like, I have no clue. And he's like, okay, remember this sentence. And then he would give me the most random sentence I don't even know where it came up with this in his head. But he would come up with something and it'd be like, well, okay, then I guess I might remember that because that is the strangest sentence that I have ever heard.
So for all you out there, what he's trying to get at is
he's very creative.
Well, not that. Thank you, though. I do appreciate that compliment. But what he's saying is that if you can take a word and you can put it in a sentence that'll really help you remember the word, that's how I used to help him study for vocab. Vocab. Yeah, vocabulary. I was going to say vocabulary, and then I decided to say vocab, but whatever. Anyway, so, that's how I'd help him study, and basically all that meant was let me try to think of an example. So, you know a word off the top of your head? Aloof. So I'd be like, if the cat was aloof, it would sit on the roof and just make something that rhymed or something that would help you remember the meaning of the word. Random sentences like that. And I don't know, it always helped me just making rhyming or things like that. So.
And then I also remember there was the time when Davis and I both went and we went on an ag trip. We were in the FFA at our school. So we were in our FFA chapter.
Yeah.
And we ended up going down to Tifton, Georgia.
That was
which
fun.
was fun and emotionally scarring and physically scarring.
Come on, no. I mean, you're already making this worse than it needs to be.
Look at my kneecaps right now, Davis. I still have scars.
Yeah, I see your kneecaps. I see them,
Davis.
So where should we begin this story?
Okay, well, how about this? Our ag teacher roped us into going into a competition called Farm Business Management, which really does nothing for farms.
Well, yeah, it's basically economics and business, and then they just throw the word farm in there, and that's what makes it.
Or the word corn.
Yeah, or the word corn, and that's what makes it FFA. So basically, it's your intro normal business course. With no math
teachers
and except for they throw in the word corn and pig and tractor, and then it becomes farm business management.
Exactly.
And so Kayla and I were pretty good at math. We were pretty decent at it.
And somehow, I don't even know how this happened. Whenever we went to the regional level, I was 1 point off being the highest person in the whole entire region.
Yeah. Keeping
in mind, I didn't study for this at all because we didn't get our farm business management books until the day before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then those people had, I'm assuming, ample time to look at all of that. But we made it to state, and that's why we went down to Tifton.
We did. So yeah, that's why we were in Tifton. We had won regional. And so we went down to Tifton, Georgia, home of ABAC and UGA Tifton.
Yep, UGA Tifton.
And the day before, we had taken this nice tour of ABAC and seen the campus.
It was a very pretty campus.
It was very pretty. And we got free merch.
And they got us all to sign this card so they could send us emails for the rest of our lives.
I've been getting emails ever since.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway, so that was nice. And then, we had this hotel room that we would stay at. And the whole state competition took place over like 2 or 3 days, and so that's why we had to stay in a hotel, is because they'd have different competitions every day. And I don't remember, was ours the second or third day?
I think it was the second day.
I don't remember. I think it was the second day. But anyway, the night before, we had just gotten to the hotel, and we were like, Caleb, there's a workout room. And so I'm always loving.
We noticed this at nighttime.
Yeah, we noticed this at like 9 o'clock at night. And so we're freshmen, we're in ninth grade. So we thought we were the tough stuff. We were all mature and grown up, and like, nobody needs to watch us. I mean, we're the bomb.com. Being a senior now, I see how we weren't exactly what we thought we were.
And then we went and watched Ice Age and went to bed.
Yeah. But anyway, so what happened was the next morning, it was too late for us to go out.
What had happened was...
So the next morning, we get up super early. And
it's like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was like 6 in the morning. We, like, looking back, we really should have slept more.
Yeah.
But we went down. We were outside of workout room, because like I never got to use a treadmill or like anything ever. So it was always so much fun when I went to a hotel and there was like workout equipment, because I don't know, just something about it. Like I never got to use it.
Look at how cool this is.
Oh yeah, it feels so cool. But anyway, I got on the treadmill and I was running. And Kayla's like, Davis, give me a turn. I'm like, hold on, give me a minute, now. Because, like, I was like, man, I never get to do this. So I'm running, do. And I really don't want to give him a turn. But
all. And then our advisor person is like, okay, guys, we're about to leave in 5 minutes. I'm like, Davis, please.
All right, so I heard 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, just give me just a second. And so Kayla was like, you know what? I'm just going to get on behind you. And I'm like, what? No, that's a terrible, terrible idea.
I said, okay, Davis, do not turn the notch up. Do not make it go faster. He goes, ha! Beep, 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 beep. And then it starts going faster and faster and faster until we're full on sprinting. And Davis is taking longer strides. So he's taking up more room. And now I have about maybe a foot of running room on the back of this treadmill.
All right.
And then I'm like, Davis, stop! And we're screaming at this point, so everyone in the hotel can, hear what's going on. And then Davis, he's like, okay, turns it up some more. And then it goes up to 12, and then I can't do it anymore. I trip, and then I hit both of my kneecaps on the treadmill, and then the treadmill goes all on the skin on my kneecaps, and it's like I start bleeding on both my kneecaps.
All right. So you just painted me out to be the major bad guy in that. Yeah, let's hear my
after
end of the story.
After I fell off, you turned it off.
So anyway, I was on there, and Caleb jumps onto the back of the treadmill while it's going. And I'm like, Caleb, what are you doing? He's like, it's
keep
fine,
in mind,
it's
on
fine.
setting 2 or setting.
Yeah, so it's going
1.
really slow. It's like, and so it's not going super fast. But Caleb jumps on the back, and he's running behind me. I'm like, Caleb, what are you doing? He's like, it's fine. And so I'm like,
don't turn it up. You forgot that part.
He might have said, don't turn it up.
I did.
Hold on. In my head, I was thinking, okay, this is really dangerous. I don't want him to get hurt. So
let's turn it up.
Wait. So it sounds bad when you put it that way. But I was like, I'll turn it up so that he gets nervous and hops off. That way he doesn't get hurt by standing on the back.
It's harder to get off, and the faster it is, right?
So I start turning it up. I'm not really thinking exactly about what might happen. So I go do, and it starts getting faster, and it goes do. And so we start running, and Caleb's like, stop it. I'm like, get off, because I thought for sure it's getting faster.
I'm in a full-on sprint, and Davis is telling me to just stop.
I thought for sure that he would get off, because I'm like, okay, if he's not getting off while it's slow, I'm worried he's gonna get hurt. So I'll turn it up, and then he'll get nervous and get off. So he doesn't get off. He's stuck on the back, and I realize my mistake, and I'm like, oh no, he can't get off. So I go, and I'm trying to turn it down, but it's already going so fast that I hear Caleb's foot go squeak, and it slips, and then I hear boom, and he slams into the weight rack behind us, knocks dumbbells everywhere, and then his knees land on the end of the treadmill and go It's like a sandpaper on his knees. And I'm like, Caleb. And I start pounding on the emergency off switch. I'm going, beep, 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 pounding on the off switch to turn this thing off. And it goes, and Caleb just goes, and I'm like, no, what have I done?
And then it was so hot and tipped. We had like the leather seats on our bus.
90 degrees.
So like anytime I'm like kind of a taller person. So anytime that my knees would touch like the leather seats, it would go and get stuck.
Yeah, it would.
And then every single time we get off the bus, it's like, okay, now that my knees are stinging, take them off.
Caleb's
and then it would break the
knees.
scab every time.
His sticky, like, destroyed knees would get stuck to the bus seat, and he'd have to peel them off, and it was terrible. I felt so awful the whole time.
I know.
But it was terrible for a while, but we laugh about it now. That's a good memory.
Yeah, it's totally Davis's fault.
It wasn't entirely my fault.
Ooh, let me turn it up so you'll get up.
Ooh, let me jump on the back of a moving treadmill while someone's already on it.
Yeah, I guess. Basically, moral of the story, Davis and I both do not have common sense, if you can tell.
Well, in 9th grade, we didn't have much common sense. But anyway.
It was pretty great.
It was. Hello, guys. It's us, Caleb and Davis from editing.
And Davis from editing.
Future people.
I know. We're so cool, aren't we?
We are. We're the
They
coolest.
missed us for that 0.5 seconds.
They sure did.
It was quiet. I know they did.
Well, anyway, you may be wondering, why are we here? The episode just ended.
Basically.
So why are we back? And I was going to ask you guys a question. The reason why we're back is actually a reason that you could figure out. So if you notice in this episode, along the bottom of the card was a question that was not there in the first episode.
It says, answering life's big question.
That's right. And what that is our theme for season 1. So for the next couple episodes, until we finish season 1, we are going to be tackling life's big questions. And we're going to take some of the most common ones that we feel like people will most identify with, and we're going to have those questions, and we're going to walk through them step by step and try, at least, to provide you guys with a really solid, good answer.
Or at least give you some good suggestions.
Or at least some good suggestions, maybe some advice for moving out in the future.
Yeah. So I think that kind of like today's episode, we kind of like talked about stereotypes some, and kind of like what should you do with unfair stereotypes.
And so some of the stereotypes that were in today's episode, we were telling our story. And obviously we talked a lot about Pokemon and Pokemon cards and how we love to do those and how we even made our own card game.
Yeah, and you can see those here.
Yeah, and we're going to show you some of those, and you can see, again,
super mega nerds. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. So as Caleb said, we got branded pretty hard as nerds. We were in gifted classes. Our entertainment could be found on a treadmill. I mean, the whole thing screams nerd.
Exactly. It's just like, oh man.
So as far as stereotypes go, that was one that we got hit with pretty hard. We got called nerds pretty often, and most of the time it was lighthearted. Aha! Look at these nerds! Aha! But it did hurt, and there's something to be said there. It did kind of sting, because it didn't feel lighthearted when we heard it on our end.
And it wasn't like really like meant lighthearted either. You know what I mean? It was definitely meant as like a negative thing.
Right.
And we definitely took it like that at first, but then it was like you kind of have to like actually listen to what they're saying. Ha ha, nerd! You can do the math problem.
Right. And so
what?
When you started to listen, it didn't make much sense because they'd say, haha, nerd, you know how to use a computer. I'm like, wouldn't you like to know how to use a computer? Or they're like, haha, nerd, you play Pokemon and you know everything about it. And I'm like, well, I think that's kind of cool that I know everything about it.
So it's like kind of like the more that we like, I guess, matured some. Not much, obviously.
In our slight maturity.
Yeah, exactly. I think that we kind of realized that, like, even though, like, we were, like, you know, being branded as those kind of stereotypes, it was like, well, you know, maybe that's actually part of who we are as a person.
Right. And so as we began to shift from these are insults on our character, and people are saying these things because they're making fun of us.
They think that we're the worst.
Right. To make an example of us. When we began to shift that so that it became, they're noticing a part of myself that I'm really proud of. And
or like something that we've like, worked on,
something that I've actually like worked
when we made
towards.
those cards, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, look at these! These are like the nerdiest things that I've ever seen." And we were like, "Thank you for noticing."
Well, yeah, and so on the one hand, that was really it hurt because we poured all that time, all that energy, all that work into those cards, only for them to be called the nerdiest thing that anyone had ever seen. But on the flip side, the fact that they were noticing and the fact that they had all that to say about those cards, when we began to look at it in that light, that's when it really began to change our perspective.
And kind of like do the inverse of what they were really wanting, which was like to lower our self-esteem. But in the end, it was like, wow, you know, these are actually really cool.
Exactly. And really quick disclaimer. I know being called a nerd is not a very strong stereotype compared to some stereotypes that people are subjected to.
Whenever people are like, "Oh yeah, you have a southern accent, you must be retarded."
Right. So there are obviously some that are much worse, and we don't need to go into all of them for obvious reasons. But, you know, there are absolutely worse stereotypes out there. However, even though we're kind of talking about a light one, we're kind of joking around, haha, we were nerds, this same advice can be applied to whatever stereotype you're facing. So
you have to really kind of like find what was like, you know, obviously they were trying to attack something, and for us it was like, you know, our self-esteem, right? Because that's all you're doing when you're like, you're a nerd, you're the worst.
Right, it was an attack on self-esteem.
So, and at the end of the day, it was like, well, I mean, yeah, we're a nerd now. Okay, what does that exactly mean? So you have to like figure out what's actually being said, because sometimes, like we were saying before, you're a nerd, you could do the math problem.
Sometimes it just doesn't make sense because
it's really a compliment.
Right, it's more of a compliment. So that's the key here, is you have, rather than letting other people define what that stereotype means, rather than letting nerd become this thing where it's a derogatory term, where being called a nerd is like an insult, we redefined being a nerd as something cool that we respected. And so then it became something new. And the key there was not just that they stopped saying it, because I didn't, but our own mental shift, our perception is what changed.
It meant, yeah.
Right. And so that's really how you beat stereotypes.
Exactly.
Is you have to shift your perspective so that it's not, they need to stop. It's, well, thank you. This definition of this stereotype is actually exactly what I want to be. Thank you. Because it's a part of who I am, and it's something that I really enjoy about myself.
Exactly.
And so that's the key here, and that's the lesson of this episode, is you have to take your stereotypes and run with them. You have to be able to put them on YouTube, talk about them, laugh at them, accept them as who you are, and that's truly how you overcome them.
And I think that was a perfect answer to what do you do about unfair stereotypes.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. We will be here next week with another episode.
Yep, we will see all you guys on Monday. Go, you know, drink some water, stay hydrated.
Go on a nice walk.
Also, go on a nice walk, exactly. It's been very pretty where we are. Except for it's kind of cloudy now, but
yeah, a little
besides that.
Other than that, though, get outside, see some beautiful nature.
Get some vitamins, all that good stuff.
And we hope you guys will have a great week. And we'll see you in a week.
And if you missed the first one for some reason, we have a little playlist
in the
on the bottom left, and you should be able to click on that playlist, and it will, you know, redirect you back to the very first episode if you had not seen it or missed it.
We talk about some of our past, about ourselves,
and kind of our origin story.
Oh yeah, so great times. We had a great time in that episode, and if you guys want to check that out, you missed it maybe, that's in the description, or that's in the little card.
And we will see you guys in the next one.
All right.